All right, so quick little update on where we're at in the market. So pushing up into this liquidity, I had labeled yesterday. I was looking for these relatively equal highs to be swept. We've come and we've swept them. So what I was hoping for is a low volume move up into here, on balance volume, declining like it was. So if you look through this whole accumulation, OBV was declining the whole way. All right, so what this typically will tell you is that there's more sellers than buyers present in the move. So obviously OBV's come up and we've pushed through, and you can see that there are buyers present in this move. So it is looking like potential for a bullish continuation. Now looking at this whole thing on the daily though, have a look at OBV. Right? Have a look at OBV on the daily. This whole move, right? So this is showing us that there are more sellers present inside of this range than there are buyers. You can see that, right? This whole way from since May, there's been more sellers present than buyers. So, I mean, look how much room they have to get back up to the highs where they were previously. So to me, man, I can see, man, this is telling me people are offloading their bags here. So that in itself really makes me not want to touch this with a 10-foot pole. All right, you can see OBV shows you accumulation versus distribution volume. I don't care what Twitter says and all this other bullshit and the 4-year cycles. You can't argue with volume. Volume is showing you straight up what the buyers and what the sellers are doing. This is raw data, right? So I don't like it really does not bother me in the slightest that everyone on Twitter's super bullish. Now, another thing you need to look at is almost every time this gets into extreme greed, we get a massive sell-off to follow because the market is always all about liquidity. The big boys don't care whether it goes up or whether it goes down. If everyone's buying, they've got no one to buy from. All right. They need to have other people on the other side of their trade, and they use retail to do that. So when they drum up a big sentiment like this, it's usually so they can turn the market and dump on everyone. Moving over to altcoins. All right. So Bitcoin's about to break all-time highs. What's altcoins doing? What are altcoins doing right now? Any other time Bitcoin's broken all-time highs, what's happened? We've had a massive rally. What are altcoins doing right now? Look, here's the highs. We are still 40% down from the highs. And I think I called a sell-off up here. And some people are trying to tell me that I'm always bearish, something up here. All right. So we're still, you know, 30% down from when I told everyone to get out of the market. Now, looking at this, we've pushed up. So the market's trending like this, right? Low highs, low lows, low highs, low lows, low highs, low lows. We get our first high, low, first high, high. All right. Now, this should have told us, okay, the market might intend on turning here. Big boys aren't interested in buying in premium. They want to buy in discount. We've got discount down here. Now, looking at this, we've left behind relatively equal lows. When the market leaves behind relatively equal lows, it leaves us a great place for them to come through and sweep that liquidity. All right, they'll come through, stop everyone out who's in here on Twitter right now, buying big, leveraging up, all excited. Very big chance we're going to come through and sweep these lows before we push up, before anything happens. So we're looking at, potential 10, 15% to the downside if they're going to return from here. So looking at this, right? Why are the others not rallying? Why are altcoins not pushing hard? That is because of others' dominance. Now, if you look at others' dominance, you can see we are right at a trend line that's existed since the inception of altcoins. Very scary place to be, right? So this has existed since altcoins first ever came into the market. And now you can see we've bounced off the bounce off, bounce off. We tried to bounce off this trend line. We didn't. We've failed to bounce off and find any kind of strength off of this trend line. It's not a good sign. Now, if we are going to get this shakeout and we are going to get some kind of rally, what I'd expect. So with these trend lines, right, again, you need to remember the market's all about liquidity. It's all about the big boys sucking in idiots to get on the other side of their trade, which is what you can see on Twitter right now, right? It's just everyone is so bullish. And look, they might be right. I doubt it. I've never seen the masses ever in the whole time, in the last nearly decade I've been doing this. I've never seen the masses all be right. And the reason for that is, again, it comes back to liquidity. If the big boys want a position in the market, they need to scare everyone out of the market. So, well, we look at to get in if we're going to get in. Well, we've got this trendline liquidity here. We've got a big imbalance on the weekly. All right, they haven't fixed this up. They've never come back and revisited it. If the market's going to turn, I'd look at others D at the last imbalance. Okay, now if they break this and they start pushing below these lows, that is good night altcoins. Like there's not like bad, very bad if we break this trend line, and we're so close to doing that. So all these people here telling you to go balls deep, we're gonna get this. Man, there's no confirmation. Altcoins look terrible. All right, it's not a good place to be stocking up big time in the market. A lot of people, and the reason people don't want to hear that is because they're so over leveraged, man. They're so deep into this that they can't handle it if we're going to get a sell-off. And I had the same argument. Now, on the plus side, we do have this big fair value gap up here to take care of, these order book imbalances, and we've also got this up here on Tether. Right? So when Tether is bullish, Bitcoin is bearish, right? And vice versa. So Tether shows you money going out of crypto and into Tether, right? So what we're looking at here, just give me a second. So what we're looking at here is we've got this big imbalance up here. There's a lot of money tied up in the market, and they likely need to come back and revisit this. So they've got all this money they need to revisit, right? That's Tether going to the upside. That means crypto is likely to go to the downside. And so we've got to work out what Tether's doing. So you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves up. Now, if you're an Elliott wave trader, I'm not a big Elliott wave trader, but typically if you get 5 waves up, the move's likely to continue to the upside. Right, so Tether looking like we've got this big move up here. Now here is where I'll be looking for longs. Here is going to be your best place to look for longs is when they fix up all these order books. They get all the money back out of the market. Until then, man, it's fuck that. Like you can listen to Twitter, you can do everything, bro, but this is terrifying, right? If we don't get some kind of a push outside of this last imbalance, alts are going to the graveyard. Like I said, this has existed since the inception of crypto. Right? They've tested it. They came to retest it again, didn't get a strong reaction. Now, you look in the past, has that ever happened? They bounced here, they come back, just here, and then they get the big rally out. Look how deep we are now. I mean, they're for the first time since the inception of this trend line, they're about to break the lows again. All right, not a good sign, man. Very much not a good sign for altcoins. So we really don't want to be messing with this until we get to this last imbalance. If we can get to this imbalance and we start seeing some strength come in here, altcoins are on. All right. We should get a big push up into the altcoins and hopefully all the way up to here. So I do look, it is looking like we could potentially get a rally. But man, it is so risky buying here in an extremely overheated market. Everyone is so bullish. It's unreal. All right. So not a good time to buy. Now, the other thing you need to look at, again, is what I've been talking about, is NAS. Now, if you look on NAS, right, we've got the all-time high here, right, and look at this. They've just been slowly chipping away, chipping away, chipping away. Anytime you see the market moving like this, does it tell you that there's big institutional money flowing into it? Or does it tell you they're slowly creeping so they can try and sweep liquidity from a level? Now, the all-time high is just here. Depending on how we break through that all-time high, it's going to give us a pretty good signal for whether or not we should be looking to trade into this fair value gap here. Now, again, overextended on NAS. NAS goes, and they pull back into here. At the same time, others gets into that fair value gap, and we see confluence across multiple markets. Yes, great time to buy. But if you want to be an idiot and just follow everyone on social media that really has no idea what they've talking about, never looked at a chart in their lives, are just going based on guesswork and timing and stuff like that, you're not going to be seeing things like this. Right? So if you look at the volume here, volume is going to show you conviction in a move. All right, volume is going to show you, okay, how much do people believe in this move to the upside? Look at this dismal volume we've had on NAS this whole way. Now, it's probably leading into the elections. There's a little bit of unsurety, right? But very unlikely they're going to leave all these imbalances behind, considering like no one's positioning here. And there's no one is positioning at these highs, man. This is what it looks like to me is just retail pushing this up through greed. Right? It's not a good sign to be seeing a lack of volume at the highs like this. You want to see conviction when they push through the highs. So look, I'm very confident, all right, maybe too confident. The altcoins still have downside. And this is, even if they don't, this is just incredibly fucking dangerous to be buying here. There's no, they've already tested that trend line. They don't need to come back and test it again, but they are. Why? Right? If they're going to rally, they should have bounced off this trend line and pushed. They didn't. So look, just And this, man, this is ridiculous. If you're not gonna understand um how bearish this is until you watch this thing play out over and over again. So it takes a little bit of time to build some intuition with the market and things like that. But once you start seeing these things unravel the way it is right now, over and over again, like man, I've been doing this, like I said, nearly a decade, 2017. I've been through so many crypto cycles, and every single time I've seen the market set up like this, where everyone on Twitter is just so one-sided, we get a big sell-off shortly after. So I mean, but man, just even use some logic, right? If you are just going to base it off the time cycles, you're going to base it off the other crypto market cycles, things like that. I mean, have you ever seen Bitcoin break all-time highs and altcoins still be down like 40%? 40% from their highs while Bitcoin rallied? Any other time, any other bull market in history, when Bitcoin consolidates at the highs, all the altcoins rally. We've just sold off, man. All the capital, right? When Bitcoin usually accumulates in a bullish market condition, will flow into altcoins. At the highs, consolidating, money goes into altcoins. Where the fuck's the money? All right. This is not a good sign. So altcoins, I mean, I like them down here on a shorter time frame. I've posted some charts and stuff like that in the Discord, but dude, this is not a good time to be loading up. So I mean, just be careful listening to idiots on Twitter. All right. Like I said, there's charts in the Discord. You see the exact moves I'm looking at, but like I said, for you guys who are longer term investing, still very, very risky. Man, there is nothing telling us that this is likely to push. All right. So why? Crypto doesn't like to give you a chance to get in. You guys know that. When it takes off, it takes off. So why are they going to do this? We've got 5 waves down, one, two, 3 waves up. That is usually a corrective move. One, two, three, four, five, one, two, three. All right, five. When you get 5 waves down, it usually shows you that's the intended direction of the market. You get 3 waves up, usually shows you it's a correction. Now, like I said, you don't usually get a chance to get in. Why have they just been sitting here at these highs? Right? Why is Bitcoin rallying and they're selling off? Like you telling me this is a good time to buy altcoins? If we're going to get one more rally, right? I think we need a big shakeout of the market first, and that's what I'm looking for. When we're going to know when it's the right time to buy is when Twitter flips and they start doing the opposite, and everyone starts saying the shit I'm saying now. Oh, it's bearish, it's never coming back. That's when it's a good time to buy. You look at your fear and greed index, we get to fear or extreme fear. That's when we want to look to buy. Right? Others D, I showed you the level. Others, man, looking at a higher time frame, probably even down here. All right, I've got the lower time frame, possible entries inside of the Discord, like I said. But bro, this it's not a good time to be buying big right now. So, I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, but I doubt it, man. I'm pretty confident in this. We'll see what happens. Any questions, as always, guys, let me know.